Are you ready?
Let's get ready to ramble.
Now that's the new thing in the podcast now. You do know that, right? That's your thing.
Yep, let's get ready to ramble. Hello and welcome to Tales from Beyond the Sofa.
Woo!
I was going to do a theme tune for us, but because we are just so into that, I'm just going to have that as our... We're never going to have a theme tune. We're never going to have a theme tune. That's always going to be our thing. But anyways, my name is Tom, and with me, as always, is my wife and co-host Dee.
Hello.
And if you're watching on the Patreon video, check out the t-shirt. Kind of get a sense of what this episode's going to be about. I mean, if the title didn't give it away. But I was editing the Witcher episode today, and there's a bit where we're like, so we just go into it. We just go straight into it. We're just talking, and it's like, oh yeah, we didn't tell everybody what this is about. It's like, no shit, Sherlock. It's got a fucking title. I had to click on that to. So I think we should just eschew that sort of like, hey, so this episode's about this thing. It's like, yeah, we know why we're here. Yeah, we got the invite. Anyways, how's it been?
Good. I went out today.
Oh,
yes.
No. Took the boys out to the park and with a friend and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it was cool fun. Because it meant I got some work done.
Yeah, it was fun. It's been a while, and I've tried to tell people that I want to make this year kind of connection year. So that's what I'm doing. Making connections. And
yeah,
we'll
because that's the thing. Like parenthood, you just kind of end up just stuck in this constant state of parenthood, and it's like friends become this thing that other people do.
Don't really go out. Everything just feels so much.
And especially if your friends have kids, you'd think it makes more sense that because your friends have kids, you can all hang out, your kids can play together. But it's like, it just doesn't. It's just that's not the reality.
What was crazy is that me and she had basically decided that we wanted to spend some time together and stuff, but with three boys. Literally sounding like they're screaming at each other, but they're not really. They're playing.
Is it worth it?
Is it worth it? So now we've just decided there's going to be a week where it's just she and I, and she's going to drop off her little one, and you're going to take care of ours, and we're going to go out and have some fun.
Oh, thanks for dropping that on me, like, during the podcast. Like, you never mentioned that up until now. Like, awesome.
I thought I'd surprise you. It'd be great.
Her kid scares me because he's so. I don't know what he's like now, but a year ago, he just like I was like, holy crap, that kid's gonna break something very expensive very soon.
Yeah. He's really tall. I mean, he's up to there on Xavier.
How old is he?
He will be 4.
Oh, to Xavier. Okay, just for context for those who aren't actually looking at it and watching the video of this, she put like her hand just like on her collarbone there, and my brain just had like a little fart moment, and I thought she said, "He's up to here to me." So when you said Xavier and it finally sunk in. It's like, holy shit, 4 years old.
Is your brain not working this morning?
Yeah. I mean, okay, look. We haven't mentioned it yet.
Go on.
Okay, but again, just for the people watching the podcast video, you have new hair.
I do! I got new hair!
But the reason we didn't make a big deal about it immediately is because yesterday we recorded our episode...
way into the future.
Yeah, like 10 weeks from now. And we made a big deal about it then. So this is just going to be this weird time warp. So my brain is in all sorts of places right now. And, because I haven't been sleeping and I've been working like
constantly
trying to catch up, trying to keep this going.
I got my hair done. Now I don't have to tie it up.
You look wonderful.
Thank you.
And you don't have the halo of baby hair. And another reference to last night. A comment from last night.
So easy to manage. It's like literally, I don't have to worry about it. It's
There's a lot of stuff we're going to say that, for context, for it to make any sense, people are going to have to stick around for at least another 10 weeks.
To find out what
It's all
happened.
part of our master plan.
Totally, it was planned from the beginning. Maniacal laugh. Maniacal laugh.
Same thing we do every night, Pinky. So yeah. So we're here to talk about
First Contact.
First Contact.
Yeah.
Because Picard's coming out.
Yeah.
And I'm super excited
I'm
for it.
stoked for
I am
it.
so freaking
Yeah.
excited. Discovery, I was kind of excited for, but
Yeah.
when I watched it, it seemed like a great show, but it just didn't really pull me in because it didn't
But it
feel
could be one
Star
of those.
Trek.
Yeah, but I think we need to go back to it and kind of
Possibly.
kind of
I think it was just
confirm
it's
that
because it just
theory.
felt too much like J.J. Abrams' Star Trek.
Oh,
And I know
okay.
this is like what? It's been 4 weeks since I bashed J.J. Abrams. But yeah, it just felt like it just for me,
Yeah.
and I can appreciate the J.J. Abrams Star Trek stuff.
Yeah.
Right, but as its own separate thing.
Yeah.
But when we're going into sort of like Star Trek canon, like main canon, and suddenly everything's just J.J. fried.
Yeah.
We need an actual term for this, but yeah, when it gets lens flared, we need a term for when when the JJ influences. So when it gets lens flared, and it just didn't. I was like, this is cool, but it's just.
It just didn't put you.
I need some adjustment. I need time to adjust and.
You weren't ready for it.
Yeah,
right then.
maybe I can go back and...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because I loved the characters. I
Yeah.
thought the characters were great, and I thought the premise was great. And I thought how they handled, like the whole Klingon, like seeing how the Klingons were before the Federation were a thing, before the whole Federation Klingon war. That was awesome. It was, and seeing like half an episode being just in Klingon was awesome. I was like,
But it didn't feel
it's all
like.
strange and new, and
It just didn't feel like your Star Trek.
it
is
felt
what you're saying.
too legit.
Right.
Star Trek is not legit.
No.
I'm sorry.
No.
Your plywood sets and everything are quaint.
Yes.
They're sweet, but it doesn't feel. It never feels legit. It always feels Star Trek. And then Discovery comes along and it's like this legit show, and I just couldn't handle it. I was like, no, man, it's too real. It's too compelling.
You've seen most of the series. Which one's your fave?
Voyager.
Yeah.
I love Next Gen, right? Next Gen was...
the first half of Next Gen is...
Well, the first
still-
2.5 seasons.
Yeah. And then after that it's
But that's
great.
because and I hate to say this, and it's kind of sad, but it's because Gene Roddenberry was involved in the first 2 seasons. And he changed the landscape with the original series, but it's I don't know, man, it's like Granddad trying to be cool kind of thing. It's like the next generation have taken it, the literal next generation have taken it. But it felt very kind of staid and, and a little bit like tired and very old fashioned. It was all on sets. You know, there are episodes where in the first season which are like, for example, perfect example is the episode we were watching the other night where you know when the Q are trying to recruit Riker.
Yes.
And they're all those kind of like I think like red coats, but they're all like weird gorilla guys and things. That scene is weird and it's hokey and but it would have worked a little bit more effectively if it was like, say, on a location. Yeah. Instead of having this like pink cardboard backdrop. And, you know, that's where the kind of Gene Roddenberryisms, that's what held back the first season and a half, or first 2.5 seasons. Yeah. And then Ronald D. Moore kind of took control and it became...
a phenomenon.
Well, it was already a phenomenon, but it just became its potential. Yes. It had so much potential in the first 2 seasons, and it became that potential.
But, I mean, you've got to look at the actors in that series
yes,
as well. They're
absolutely.
Incredible.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, not disregarding...
I think the only...
What is his name escaping me?
Patrick Stewart?
Yes.
I think the only weak actor in the whole series is Gates McFadden.
I was going to say that.
She has some weird episodes as well.
She does. She has a very kind of sexual episodes mainly.
I know.
So
it's
bizarre.
weird, like the whole thing with the
ghost.
ghost. Yes, the whole thing. But she's got such a kind of like there are moments. The only way I can describe them is like her reaction is like, "Oh shit, I'm acting." Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be acting right now. You know, where she's supposed to be like reacting to the kind of like the weird phenomenon right in front of her, and it's just so kind of like, oh yeah. You know?
I don't really like her character, to be honest. She's very bland.
I like the fact that in this movie she didn't really have much to do.
Yes.
She just kind of was there.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't put in a Picard Crusher sort of love.
No.
Which is
the kind of in the
it was always in the series.
Yeah.
But it always had its place. It was never kind of overplayed.
No.
It didn't become a theme throughout the series. It was just something that would come up every now and then. But I've never... Yeah, Gates McFadden, weirdly, right. I grew up watching Next Generation. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And in South Africa, there is very little good TV in English. Like, all the best TV is dubbed in, like, what in the late 80s, early 90s was usually dubbed in Afrikaans. And I didn't understand Afrikaans. And Star Trek The Next Generation was one of the few things that was in my wheelhouse that was in English. So I watched the hell out of Star Trek.
You did.
I was like 7 years old and I had it. Mum, we need to get home. Star Trek's on.
The one show you had to be home for.
Exactly. It was that and DuckTales. Right? Those were like the only two shows I could watch at that point. But Gates McFadden, even at that point, I was like, oh, that's what grown-ups mean when they mean bad acting.
Oh.
And I'm not saying all the time.
No,
because she's not terrible.
No,
but there are moments where, when she's just kind of being a doctor, but when she's being like someone in peril or something like that, then it's like...
I just don't like her. I don't like the way she... Yeah, I have to agree with you. I don't like her.
I quite liked the original Next Gen Doctor. I can't remember her name.
Yes.
I can't remember her name, but she had like the short curly hair. And she was kind of like... She was very wry.
Yeah.
You know, she had a dry sense of humour and she had a way of keeping people in their place. And she was very cool.
Didn't Gates McFadden leave for a bit and then come back?
She was there for I think the first season, and she left.
Yes.
Something about pay disputes, or something about the storyline, or where the script was going, and things like that. And they replaced her for a bit, and then she came back.
Right, fair enough. Shame, really. No, I'm joking.
It's just a shame they replaced her with someone so much more charismatic and interesting.
Yeah.
And she had some seriously weird episodes. The ones with like the fish people in the stasis. And Worf's like, handsome fellow. So we're here to talk about...
We're actually here to talk about First Contact, not Next Gen.
I love Next Gen.
I know.
But you asked me what my favourite series was, and I'm trying to relate it to the movie. What's your... I mean, I know what your favourite series is. But just for the audience,
it's Voyager.
Why?
Because you introduced me to it, and I just...
That was your introduction to Star Trek?
No, it wasn't my introduction to Star Trek.
I mean, your introduction to like, hey, let's watch Star Trek.
Yes. That was my introduction to, hey, let's watch Star Trek. And when we were watching that, we had just met, so it has a special place in my heart.
Aww.
Yeah.
You big softie. And it's got a good contingent of interesting, complex female characters as well. And Next Gen kind of lacks that a little. It's very much a boys' club. I think that's why I prefer Voyager. Because I mean, it's not like.
But you have to remember, most of these shows are a symptom of their time. Yeah. But Next Gen is diverse.
It is still kind of a boys' club. You know, there's Gates McFadden, there's Crusher, there's Deanna.
Yeah. That's true. I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah. Whereas, you know, with Voyager,
you've got a few.
There's Torres, there's the Captain, there's Janeway, there's 7 of 9.
Yeah.
There's even, like, Naomi Wildman. There's just a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know? But Next Gen is timeless.
Yeah.
You know? It's got the better. It's got the better actors.
It's got the better actors, and in some instances, it's got some great one-off episodes.
Mm-hmm. The one with Riker is he's doing that play.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah, that's like and the Four Lights episode.
Yes.
Holy shit! That episode is just fucking incredible.
Those two episodes always stick out in my mind. I'm not sure if that is the Four Lights episode. You know the one where he picks up the flute.
Oh no! That's
incredible.
That's the one where he gets the there's this probe. They find a probe and it beams at him. It hits him with a ray, and he lives this life on a planet.
Yeah.
He lives this whole life and learns an instrument
and everything.
Yeah, and learns an instrument and has his grandchildren, and then it turns out that the planet actually dies, and he just saw the life of one of the inhabitants.
It's all about keeping the history of that planet.
People don't forget it.
Yeah.
And then in a later episode, he finally shares his music with this woman, and because he feels like an affection to her, and he plays the flute, and it is literally just a penny whistle.
It's an amazing episode. That's one of my favourites.
Voyager does two-parters really well.
Yes.
But Next Gen has some of the most like memorable episodes like that, and just like they hit you like jeez. Yeah.
It's hard.
So it's kind of stands to reason why they would have their own film franchise.
Yes. I mean, First Contact is actually one of the better Star Trek movies.
How many of the Star Trek movies have you actually seen? I know you've seen all the newer ones.
Yeah, I've actually seen all of them. Because I kind of catch here and there. I've seen every single one of them.
You've seen them. Okay, can I ask just for clarification? You've seen them, but have you watched them?
Probably not properly.
Okay.
If you're talking about properly watching them,
like actually watched it, like hey, let's actually watch this, you know, or it's just been on.
Then it will be 4.
Okay.
So you got the J.J. Abrams, the two J.J. Abrams ones, and obviously Wrath of Khan and this.
Didn't we watch Into Darkness?
Oh,
no. What's the other one? Beyond.
Yeah,
yes, the last
we did.
one.
So there's 5.
Okay, 5.
There we go.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh, shut up, NordVPN. I don't know if that actually got picked up on any of the recordings or not, but NordVPN was like, hey, we're still kind of keeping you safe. Like, awesome.
Thanks, Nord.
Yeah, awesome.
Hashtag not.
Not sponsored.
Yeah.
Yet. Because this movie kind of proves the whole, to quote Spaced, every odd numbered Star Trek movie is shit.
Yeah.
The first Star Trek is shit, then Wrath of Khan is awesome.
Yeah.
Star Trek 3 is... yeah, it's crap. Star Trek 4... Search for Spock is great. But then Star Trek...
yes, Search for... Yeah, that is great. I have seen that. See, like I said, I've seen them.
No, Star Trek 3 is Search for Spock. Star Trek 4 is The Undiscovered Country. I think... Do you know, I need to look this up because I don't want to be, like, owned on the internet. All I know is one of my favourite ones is the one where they go back to the 80s. My dad and I watched these all, like, when I was growing up.
Sorry.
But, you know, they say, like, when you're, you know, when you're a kid, like... all movies, if it entertains you, it's great. Doesn't matter if it's good or not. That's why, like...
you were saying that the other day. I mean, that's how you talk about your cinema-going experience. Regardless of how much fun you have watching the movie or not, it's the cinema-going experience that makes it fun.
No, Star Trek 4 is the Voyage Home.
Right.
Is that the one where they go... Yes, that's, like, my favourite one. That's the one with Scotty with the mouse going... Hello, computer.
Oh, yes.
And this one also introduces one of the kind of principal ideas with Star Trek and time travel.
Yes.
Where Scotty gives this guy... They need a container for the whales, right? For the aquatic animals. And they need it made from a particular material.
Right.
And it doesn't exist in 1986. So he gives this manufacturer dude... the formula for this material, and Spock's like, I think it's Spock. It might be Spock or it might be Bones. I can't remember. But one of them's like, that's you can't do that. You can't give this guy the formula for it. And he's like, well, for all we know, he's the guy who invented it.
Yes.
Which kind of which kind of sets a precedent for that sort of Star Trek conceit that if there's time travel involved in their story and they are involved in a historic event. Logic dictates that they were always involved in that event.
Yeah. Which is quite significant considering this movie.
Yeah, exactly. That's always my thought on this one. All right, let's actually get into
let's
this
the movie.
Right,
Come on, let's start from the beginning, right?
Star Trek First Contact. Let's do this.
Right. So, first sequence, Dream Within a Dream. I fucking hate Dream Within a Dream.
I hate Dream Within a Dream. Because Dream Within a Dream makes me think like, all right, is the rest of the movie also a dream?
Yeah.
How do I know there's not going to be a post-credit scene with Picard waking up in his bed going, oh, fuck me, that was weird. I hate Dream Within a Dream, but this is a really effective Dream Within a Dream.
Yeah, it really is.
I hate Dream Within a Dream. I'm tipsy. I hate Dream Within a Dream because I hate waking up in a dream and then waking up again. And I fucking hate that.
I have to completely agree with you there. It's like, it's so frustrating.
All right, I can see you were a little bit embarrassed about that. So, guys, if you hear like that's Deepa knocking the mic. She feels really bad about it.
Sorry.
But we're just going to move through it.
Yep.
Don't worry about it.
No.
Knock it as much as you need to. Just don't go nuts. She's a wrecking machine.
So yeah, I mean, in terms of real life, but you can see how as soon as he has that dream, you can see what Picard knows.
Well, I think that's why he was having that dream.
Yeah,
you know, like I was telling you before, like if the monitor's not on and our baby starts crying in the night, when I'm dreaming,
you can hear him in the background.
It sounds like he's down the hall or something, and then I wake up and I can hear him crying downstairs. But because the monitor's not on, it had to make its way into my consciousness.
Yeah.
And that's how I see that scene. It's like, because of the Locutus thing, which they very quickly get into.
Yes.
That's the first scene.
Yeah.
I am Locutus of Borg.
Yes.
You know, it's because the Borg are nearby that he's suddenly having these dreams.
Here's a question based on that. Do you think you'd have to have seen that episode to understand the movie?
No,
I agree.
No, because I actually, I saw this movie at the cinema when it came out. I hadn't seen that season of Star Trek Next Gen. Right. It, I just hadn't seen it. And when I was watching it, I was like, oh shit, there's some stuff I've missed.
Yeah.
But the story unfolds in such a way that I guess it was intentional because they wanted to attract a larger audience. They didn't want just Star Trek fans along for the ride, which is why they have the Lily character. And I have
love Lily.
I have some serious thoughts about Lily.
Right, go on.
And how the movie treats her, and we will get into that later.
Right.
So
I love Lily, and we'll get into it more later, but Lily and Picard are just awesome.
Lily functions to, because they need to catch up.
Oh yeah.
The wider audience, and that's what she's there
our
for.
Entry.
Yeah,
to the movie.
She's the audience surrogate. Yeah. So, this is why I think this is one of the best Star Trek movies.
Go on.
This is the Star Trek movie that somehow found that perfect spot that is really satisfying to like the fans, and really fulfilling to people who don't really know Star Trek.
Right.
And it's almost like, in this movie, it's almost like, this is why people like Star Trek.
Yeah.
You know, this everything this movie has is like, it's almost like they're saying to everybody else outside the Star Trek community, look, this is why people like Star Trek.
Come and see us.
Yeah, and I know people who do not like Star Trek but really like that movie.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, our 7-year-old watched it and he loved it. He thought it was a good film.
Yeah, he really enjoyed it.
He laughed as well. There were so many points where he was
and he was invested in the peril bits as well.
Yes,
like he was right next to me, and I could feel him like tense up at certain points. I was like, that's why there was that bit where I hugged it. I kind of put my arm around him, like, it's all good, man. It's all good. Don't worry. But this is just.
It's like any generation can kind of relate to this story.
Yeah.
You know, because it's not just about time travel and space travel and all that, but it's about humanity.
Yeah, it's about like, I mean, this is like 10 years after the Third World War.
Yes. Oh, God.
Yeah, 10 years after World War III, and we are on the brink of like, you know, there are no they say there's no functioning governments and blah 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 blah. And
they're all built into factions, aren't
but
they?
then look at what in this reality comes from that, which is why it's so poignant that they call the first ship the Phoenix.
Yes,
because it's humanity rising from the ashes. It's that whole thing about the three great filters. You know, we came out the other side, the Phoenix from the flames.
Yeah.
We were able to kind of join this new frontier of space exploration.
All right, well, so we've had the Back to the Future thing. This is actually set in 2064. Like the past is set in 2064.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's 44 years from now.
Yes, exactly.
Which means the World War III ends 24 years from now.
That's just like a...
And a world war is what? Between like, it's like 5 years?
Yeah, can be.
So we're 29 years from World War III. Let's get working on that bunker, right?
Yes. It's a freaking scary thought. Can you imagine? And considering which direction we are actually going at the moment, it's crazy.
With everything that's happening with Iran and...
Can we go back to the movie and let's forget about life?
Yeah. But that was very sobering.
Yeah,
when they said the year, I was like... Oh.
I think that hit me more the second time round.
The thing is, watching this like in, when was it, like 1996 or 1997, watching this was like...
So long ago.
It's like watching Demolition Man. It's like... You know, we're well, what's the date now? This comes out on the 3rd of February.
Yeah.
Right? So we are 3 months past Blade Runner.
Yes.
The original Blade Runner. No, November 2019.
Oh my God, was it? Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So right now, like, replicants aren't running amok.
No.
World War III never happened. We're not living on Mars or trying to get to Mars or whatever. We're all good. But this film, it's like we're in a timeline that very possibly could follow the same.
Yes, it's so good.
Oh shit.
Oh, it's so rude. Like you said, that freaking scared the hell out of me. Fuck that shit, man.
Oh wow. So yeah, back to the movie.
Back to the movie.
Back to the movie. Set 43 years from now. 46 years from now.
Oh, our poor children.
I know. Do you remember when we were you brought up the idea of having a second child?
Yeah.
I was like, but look at the fucking world. One of my, okay, just for the audience, right? I'm going to be completely candid here.
Go on.
I was reluctant to have a second child. As Dee knows, I was reluctant to have a second child. And a large part of that was because I felt like the world was falling apart and I didn't want to bring another child into that.
And a year and a half later, we watched Star Trek.
Well, no, it took you like 18 months to convince me. I'm like, oh, go on then.
Ow.
The isosceles triangle strikes again.
Freaking wall.
The great thing is they have to wait 10 weeks to find out what that means. Just got to pepper them in there for that long-term subscription.
Hey, don't play.
Alright, this one is so much better than our last episode. Our last episode was the Witcher episode.
Yeah,
I was recording
and I was so tired that day.
Yeah, I was editing it today, and my energy is so different than it was yesterday on that episode. I was like, yeah, so I know it's just, and there is so much silence I had to cut out of that episode. The people who watch it on the video are going to see so many jump cuts because it's just you and I just like kind of staring at each other for like 5-10 seconds. Like, what do we talk about next?
we did have a lot to talk about for that
We
episode.
were
I was exhausted.
We were
Oh my
just
god.
so exhausted
And the
on the
thing
last
is, it was
episode.
over, we recorded that over, if you want to know, we actually recorded that over the Christmas period, so it's...
Oh no, they know. It was like it was the day before New Year's.
Yeah.
It was the 30th of December. And by that point we'd done Christmas. It was my third podcast of the week. We'd just been going full pelt for like 3 weeks and we were just freaking exhausted and you can hear it. You can hear it. It's like...
I see, I kept telling you as well.
Yeah.
We need to record that.
No, we don't need to re-record it. I prefer, just...
But there we go. It is what it is.
Yeah,
Enjoy
it's-
if you like it. If you don't, we know why.
Well, it's a bit late to kind of do anything about it now.
Yeah, exactly.
I refuse to re-record. I'm not going to fucking do that. I'm going to sit through that twice.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so, anyways,
Okay, so the first thing we see, obviously, is Picard being told that he can't actually go and fight the Borg because he gets a
yeah,
call
the thing from the Admiral, and the Admiral's like, yeah, exactly, because
basically
of the whole
you were
Locutus
taken,
thing.
yeah, the whole Locutus thing. You were taken over by the Borg, and therefore you're a liability.
Yeah, and I think I don't think it was that they didn't trust him. I think it was
No.
more that he was just it's a powder keg, you know.
Yeah.
He could just.
But it kind of.
But when
proves
he
to be
gets there,
true.
he's the only one
Yeah.
who knows what to do.
Yeah.
He's just like, you know, this is
And
Captain
so-
Picard. I'm taking command. Fire on these coordinates.
Oh, I love Patrick Stewart.
I want to look that good when I'm his age. I want to be that sexy when I'm his age.
Patrick Stewart is hella sexy, man.
I know, right? Shit. All right, we're back into it.
Let's get into it.
Let's wait. Yes, everything's recording. Everything.
We're not going to run out of space now, are we?
Everything is indeed recording. We took a break and found one side of the we do the Patreon only video and we found one side wasn't recording. So yeah.
We're back now.
I'm gonna have this paranoia for the rest of the episode.
Oh, you know, earlier I was saying I can't remember the point I wanted to make about Beverly Crusher.
I found my pad.
Oh, you did? What? Why? Was that...
Quick, go about Beverly Crusher before you forget again.
EMH, that moment when she says, I swore I'd never do this.
Yeah, I swear I'd never use one of these.
And then she calls up...
Robert Picard,
yes.
yeah, doing his little cameo. And for me, in the cinema, right, back in '97, and I'm with a couple of friends, and I just barely convinced them to come see this movie with me.
Oh.
Yeah, Star Trek, that's a nerd thing. I was like, I just barely convinced them.
Yeah, go on.
And he pops up. I'm like, yay! And they're like, what?
Love Robert Picardo. He's great, and he's great in Voyager. Like we
Yeah.
were saying, you know that show has a
He's
special
great
place.
in Bones as
yeah,
well.
He
He
is.
pops up in Bones, and he's
Yeah.
basically the same character, but just flesh and blood this time. But yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, so, okay, that was my point about Beverly Crusher. That
Yeah.
was it. That's all I wanted to say.
That was a good scene, though.
Yeah, it was a
That's
good scene.
It's a very okay.
But the thing is, she loses Lily.
It's a very tight script.
Yes.
Like it's. There are no wasted scenes. It moves at just the right pace.
Yeah.
Every scene functions perfectly, and I think that's
And
what
you
I
can
love.
and the thing is, you can follow it just right from the beginning, right to the end. Even if we were saying
and it doesn't hold your hand,
No,
but
it
it does
doesn't.
it. But it spells it out very clearly for you, and it doesn't feel like you know that whole thing they say about every odd numbered Star Trek movie sucks. But then J.J. Abrams changed that. See, he even messed with the formula. His one is really good.
Yeah.
It's actually really good. The Into Darkness, not so great. And then Star Trek Beyond, actually pretty good. If a bit weird, but actually pretty good. He even messed with that formula,
Yes,
man.
he
He
did.
just couldn't even leave that alone. Jesus. But yeah. But the odd-numbered Star Trek movies, their problem is that they... Like, the first one just feels like 3 episodes sort of tacked together.
Right.
And then the third one just kind of feels like a longer episode
Right.
of
Just
Star Trek.
like a feature-length episode.
Yeah. But this one actually feels like Star Trek a movie.
Yes.
This is very much a movie kind of structure and pace and.
Sorry, I had an itch on my ear.
I know you had an itch. Why else would you scratch your ear?
All of a sudden, I felt it creeping.
You are the only person I know who gets an itch, scratches the itch, and then tells everyone, "Sorry, I had an itch." I know what an itch is. I don't know. I don't need you to tell me that that's why you're scratching.
But you know me, I like to narrate my life.
I know. It's like, we'll just be sitting there and then you're like, just abruptly move your arm. And you'll be like, sorry, I had to move my arm.
Oh, well. It's one of my quirks.
I know.
And you love it.
I know. What were we saying? Yeah, this one doesn't feel like a feature-length episode. No. It feels, it feels like
a movie.
When they were writing it, it felt like they weren't, they set out to write a movie.
Yeah, but the thing is, when they were writing it, one side wanted something about the Borg, and the other one wanted something about time travel.
Yeah.
And then they decided, why not put the two and two together? Because
and it worked.
And it worked.
All right, I'm going to turn my mic down a bit.
That just hurt. Ow.
Yeah, and it works.
It did.
It's
such a great story.
Just why didn't it occur to them? Why wasn't it just like, this is a perfect formula?
Yeah, it really, really does work.
But something occurred to me today while I was getting ready for this episode.
Go on.
Why did history forget Lily?
Yeah, because she actually... Maybe it's because she wasn't the one that made first contact. She wasn't the one that went into space. Like you said, there's
fair enough, good point. But what I mean by that is when she introduces herself to Picard, he's never heard of her.
No.
History forgot about her, right? By this point, there's got to be like a biopic hollow novel of Zephyr Cochrane with a supporting cast of characters. Yes.
She must have been mentioned
somewhere. So why has
somewhere.
no one heard of Lily?
Yeah.
She helped him build.
Yeah, she makes that
Phoenix.
point. How long did
it took her 6 months to scrounge enough materials to build a 4-meter cockpit. When these space lasers are hitting the compound, her first thought is the Phoenix.
Yes.
She is there protecting the Phoenix when Picard and Data are in the silo.
Yeah.
She's very closely tied. If anything, she probably built... He's Dr. Zephyr Cochrane, right? He came up with probably the idea, the formula for warp drive. It's implied very heavily that she's the person who kind of brought that to life.
Yes.
Yeah. These scientists, they come up with the ideas, but the engineers are the ones who figure. They're the ones who figure out how to make it real.
Well, it's like a movie.
Yeah, exactly. The writer and the director.
It's that same kind of dynamic.
Yeah, exactly. But she's the one who brought it to life.
Yes.
I feel like it's implied that. So why did history forget her?
Yeah.
It sucks, It's like
we are primitive, though.
Yeah, I mean.
As mentioned.
It's so unfair.
And she is such a great character.
Yeah.
She puts Picard in his place.
And it's I don't know how to say her name. Yeah, is it Alfre Woodard?
Yeah.
Black Mariah?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Like super young as well. Yeah. And she's great.
Yeah, she's great.
I feel like
I love her. She has so much strength and so much but she's scared at the same time and so vulnerable at the same time. It's amazing
that scene
to watch
where he shows her Earth.
Yes.
From that behind, and that her. I even remember like back in. When was it? 97. I'm going to look it up. But whatever, 96, 97. I even remember back then when I was like 14, thinking like, she's just like too good an actor. This is like really elevated acting for Star Trek.
Yeah. Yeah.
She is the perfect audience surrogate because her acting really pulls you into the situation. Her reactions are just brilliant.
Yes.
Like, He's like, oh, if you pushed this button, you would have vaporized me. So, it's my first ray gun.
All right, here's a question. Right, so there's that whole scene where Gates McFadden, Beverly Crusher basically tells Worf. Come on, let me finish, right? Basically tells Worf that there's a civilian that he needs to look out for who's never seen aliens, right? And the person you tell is Worf.
I know.
She sees data and faints, right? She sees data and faints.
Sick,
I mean, she was sick, but it still applies.
Hey, Wolf, big scary Wolf, do me a favour. Go look for this person who's never seen. And then when she does see him, she's like, whoa.
Oh, come
Beverly
on,
is not the brightest character in.
Oh, God.
Oh my God.
Sorry, I had to mention that.
I know. Considering how much she shrieks when she sees the Borg. that scene where they're going down the corridor, she's like, oh my God. Yeah, that's, so.
Do you know what? I love it when I can break him on an episode.
She'll be being better. She'll be like, as about to, oh, and don't forget your bat lift. You know?
Oh, God.
Oh, Beverly. Oh, I'm sorry. You kind of broke me. That's on my notes as well. That moment is in my notes as well. Worf, she has no idea what's going on. Let's send the big scary dude with the bumpy face. And she doesn't tell anybody else either. She just tells the big scary dude. She's not like, hey Wolf, spread the message. Hey everyone, there's a civilian missing. Keep an eye out for her.
I mean, if you were Lily, wouldn't you shit yourself if you saw him?
Oh man. So, yeah. Let's compose ourselves. So there's something that's always kind of like bothered me about Star Trek as a whole.
What's that?
Their tastes in music and culture and things like that.
Yeah.
Because they're all kind of like... No one... because, like, James T. Kirk in the 2009, he's into Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
Right? And then, well, that's kind of a reoccurring motif in those movies. Beastie Boys even comes back in Star Trek Beyond. I am slurring my words like a... Anyways. She's been plying me. We're on our third drink. I'm a lightweight and we're on our third drink.
You're not lightweight.
So, but now it's always like Puccini and and blah blah and opera and classical and And we go to the 21st century, which is basically 46 years from now. And Zephyrin Cochrane listens to like, even by 90s standards, or even today's standards, like granddad music.
Yes.
And in the 90s, it's dad music, or it's Americana. There's this thing that's always bothered me about Tom Paris. He's all about Americana.
Yes.
You know, that kind of, Captain Proton and drag racing and things like that. But then no one's ever into like Pearl Jam.
No.
Or, 9 Inch Nails. Or Kanye, even just like a fucking Kanye reference. Because. Or no one's into music from their contemporaries.
Yeah, no.
Like, no one's like the latest new band.
But we never know what the music of that time is.
Yeah.
We only ever hear music from the past, or classical music. Like
we never really get a good sense of like Star Trek culture.
No.
We know what their principles are. We know what their politics are. We know what so much of their society is, but we don't really get a good sense of their culture.
Yeah,
everyone's into like traditional stuff.
Yes, considering if you look at how music and movies and things are actually used, it is to tell a story of whatever's going on at that particular moment in time in our history.
Yeah.
You know, and you're right, we never get a sense of that at all.
But, you know, it's the 24th century and they've got hollow novels, right? And every time they do a hollow novel, it's always something like in this film where he goes back to, he's Dix, a detective. And it's basically a kind of Raymond Chandler character. And, but no one's ever like, it's the 24th century, no one's like playing a character from that hit 2257 movie, you know? It's
always an old-timey historical kind of drama or story.
It's almost like
classical. Yeah, that's what it is. It's all very classical.
Well, it's almost like pop cultural output kind of stopped in the 1950s or the 1960s.
That's supposed to be the epitome of where pop culture,
the pinnacle.
Yeah, that's it.
And and
everything else after that was just shit.
Yeah, no one in the 24th century ever kind of goes, you know, no one's, I know I said it before, but no one's even into like, what's on the radio now? And when they do show like music, they hint at music from the time. It's all like,
yeah,
but it's all on very 90s synths. So it's, you know, I know I've devoted a lot of discussion just to this point, but it's always bugged me, and I finally have an outlet for it.
All right, so the movie is kind of set into two kind of parallels.
Two plots are going on.
Yeah, two plots are going on. You've got one on Earth, and you've got one on the starship. Yeah. Everything on the starship is to do with the Borg, and everything on Earth is to do with making sure Zefram Cochrane makes that warp jump.
Yeah.
Makes that faster than light. Yeah.
The first warp.
Yeah, and make first contact. Mm-hmm. You know.
And that's why the Borg are trying to stop. And it's always confused me how it's a very literal timeline. Yes. Because they obviously meet Zefram Cochrane very, very nearly after midnight. Because they immediately start saying tomorrow morning. Yeah. And then you see this whole day go by.
And you got the whole team doing everything. But let me ask you a question. How would you feel if you were Zefram Cochrane and you were told this story by these people from the future who are telling you
me now or me as Zefram Cochrane?
You now.
Me now. I'd be like, oh, cool. It all works out.
Alright, so now it's Zefram Cochrane.
Well, Zefram Cochrane is only doing it for money. Yeah, he's not doing it to change the world or to make an impact or anything like that. He just wants to find a new way to make money.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because everybody from the future, the whole the team, basically believe that he's some kind of
God figure.
God figure. They kind of hero worship him, and he hates it.
They deify him.
They deify, yeah. And he absolutely hates it.
Well, they established very early on that he's a very kind of down to earth dude. Yeah. You know, he's like, he's in the bar late at night drinking, dancing on his own to like old timey rock and roll. You know, he's like, fucking hell, I'm just here for a good time. You know, whatever.
Drinking tequila.
And now suddenly it's like, wow, you know, I shaped destiny. Can you imagine that? I changed the direction of the galaxy. Yes. Because, for one, the Borg are trying to stop him. Without him, he's John Connor in the Star Trek universe. Without him, the Earth never make first contact. They never join. They never part of forming the Federation. They never become integral in the defense against the Borg for the Federation. No. You know, that because of like the likes of Picard and, you know, Janeway and the humans, Earth, have been integral in keeping the Borg at bay. Yes. Which is why they go back in time, stop first contact, and assimilate Earth. Earth is the key. Yes. You know, and suddenly, you know, Zefram Cochrane, that's not why he's doing this.
No, not at all. He's doing
know?
it for financial gain.
He doesn't know about the Borg and everything like that, but that's not why but that is what's implied in what everyone's saying. He's like, fuck this shit, I'm just going to go hide in the forest and get pissed, you know?
One of my favourite lines is when he's talking to Geordie and he goes that he wants to go and take a leak. And Geordie kind of stands on top of the roof.
Geordie finds it hilarious. He's just like, that's the funniest shit I've ever heard.
I love that.
It's like
great.
And things like that, just like, what, do they not have jokes in the 24th century? Or is it all that just kind of like smug, pat of the shoulder stuff that Tom and Harry do to each other?
Yeah, but it's supposed to be that they're supposed to be more evolved, and therefore language like that is just not there.
Yeah, that's the other thing. What is a 24th century stand-up comedian like? Are we allowed to make jokes about the Kardashians? Is it racist to make fun of Ferengi ears as part of a stand-up routine?
Oh my God, you are treading very, very shallow waters.
I just want to know, because this is something they don't really explore in Star Trek, is how like cultural dynamics work. You know, you know, what are the racial stereotypes of other races, and what are the racial stereotypes of humans? How do other races see humans? It's all very kind of like, yeah, we get each other, we understand, but I don't. It's. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the only episode that I can think of is that one from Voyager. When you've got Neelix doing that funny kind of language and the hand gestures.
Oh yeah, when they're all like, you know, like putting your hand on your hip.
Yeah.
And
all
just,
that all that kind of stuff.
That's a great episode. Well, it's a great moment. It's not the whole episode, but that is a great moment in it.
But that's what that reminds me of, basically, is that episode. It's like they do understand, I think in Voyager they understand that, but I think in previous episodes they probably didn't even.
Yeah, I think everyone's just a bit too nice in Star Trek sometimes.
Yeah.
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 You never really hear. This is a weird thing for me to say, but you never really hear like racial slurs.
No, not really.
Yeah.
No.
And you'd think at the very least Klingons would have like something other than Patak. You know, they'd have like specific racial slurs for other lesser species, you know, races or whatever.
Yeah. Right. Can we please just talk about the Borg in this, right? So right. So you've got the Borg, and originally in the series it was just the collective. There wasn't a Borg queen.
This was the introduction of the Queen.
This was the introduction of the Queen, and they had to bring her in because they didn't think that the Borg themselves were menacing enough.
Right,
and so they brought her in.
Well, you need a focal point.
Yeah, and that's the reason why they made her.
That's incredible, and it shapes Star Trek lore in such an amazing way as well. And you know, they brought Alice Krige back for the Voyager finale.
Yes.
But yeah, I agree that having this kind of poster,
child of the Borg,
or this focal persona.
Well, it's like bees. Bees or ants, you know, where they've got the queen.
Yeah, well, it's a hive.
It's a hive.
See, I didn't know the Borg Queen was brought in because of like studio notes or anything like that, but it just feels like such a natural extension.
It really does.
Of this ideology of like a hive mind, and there has to be the central nexus because they have a central nexus even within their network. Yeah, you know, it makes sense.
And her relationship with Data.
Yeah, she tries to seduce him.
Yeah, she literally tries.
She knew she couldn't assimilate him.
Yeah.
So she not only tries to like, I don't know, like sexually seduce him, but she also tries to seduce him like to the dark side almost. You know, giving him skin.
Yeah.
And that scene where he gets it sliced and he grabs it and he's like.
No, do you know what the scene that gets me is the one where she blows. You know, when he's look what I've got you, and then she reveals, and the hairs, and that in itself is scary but freaking sexy.
Yeah, and he's like, oh.
Yeah, it's like he's literally come.
He's like, oh. The closest to. I was gonna do a play on Do Androids Dream with Electric Sheep, but I won't. Androids cream with electric.
Oh, don't go there.
I can't get it out of my head now.
All right,
But
get it out. Get it out verbally.
Seep. I don't know. What's a good word? Do androids scream with electric? Yeah, I can't think of a good replacement for sheep, but come back to me later.
All right then.
I'm just gonna grab my pad. Jot down some notes while we talk. I think I'm onto something here.
Oh, but it's a whole kind of the bait and switch as well at the end, where you've got Picard completely convinced that Data has joined.
What even as like
I mean,
watching
when you watch it the first time, you would believe that it was.
Oh no!
Because
no, Data, no, no. And then when the torpedoes miss, you're like, I knew it, I knew it, Data.
Fantastic.
And the thing, I like the way they use the emotion chip, because the emotion chip was kind of an addition in, I think it was brought in Generations, the previous film with William Shatner and Patrick Stewart and Malcolm McDowell. fucking McDowell. But and it was always it was kind of a silly thing in that, but I like the way they used it.
Yeah, I mean that line Picard says, "Oh,
how I envy you. Sometimes I envy you."
Being able to, I would love to be able to turn off my emotions.
Yeah,
I mean,
sometimes
that
it just
instant,
be like,
just
that
be
would just
quiet.
be so handy.
Yeah.
Just like, let me just turn off my emotions, get through this, and then we'll see what happens.
And you can feel Picard's kind of like want for that. It's
I mean,
great.
let's also, not to, but also, Brent Spiner's performance.
Oh God, yeah.
He has to play somebody who is either emotionless or having to deal with unfamiliar emotions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
yeah. I mean, trying to deal with anxiety or trying to talk to Picard about anxiety is like, I don't think it's the right time for that.
And not only that, I don't really want you to describe it to me while I'm feeling it as well. Thank you very much. Turn off your emotion chip. Cool. Also, that's kind of cool, and I really envy you.
Yeah. That's it.
But that when the Queen bypasses his control and turns it back on, and he has to deal with emotions through the rest of the film.
And he goes, "Don't be scared." And you can see on his face how you can see how scared he is on his face, but he will not admit it.
Yeah, and that's why that whole turn at the end, where he kind of maybe might be evil, is so convincing.
Yes.
Because it's like she's using his unfamiliarity with these emotions to seduce him.
Yeah. I mean, she's a literal Black Widow.
But he was tempted.
Yes.
For 0.68 seconds.
Yeah, he did. Yes. Which is a lifetime in Android terms, apparently.
Yeah. I love Data. I've always loved Data.
God, yeah.
And I just...
He's so mad.
He cannot go a film or episode without telling someone that he is an android. Yes. And I love him for it. There's no mention of Spot. What happened to Spot? What happened to Spot? His black cat. He's completely black cat with no spots. Was it black or was it ginger? I can't remember. All I remember about it is it was called Spot, and there was no reason for it to be called Spot.
But from the beginning of that movie, right? You have Picard come in and there's we've got to stay in the neutral zone. And he goes, now I'm going to break my rules.
Yeah.
I'm going to break the rules. And you got Data saying, I think I speak for everybody. To hell with rules, man.
I know. I love those little moments with Data. He does this little kind of this.
That was
I did the motion. He does this little kind of like bubbly head thing. This little proud chicken bobble head. To hell with the rules. It's not unlike the James Spader nod and shake and head bobble.
Yeah.
We watched a lot of Blacklist for a while, just around the time of Age of Ultron, and Because we watched Blacklist, I could not watch Ultron without seeing red. Just his head, the nod, the shake, the bubble. and the delectation, when he says something really tasty.
Yeah.
Yes, that was a very tasty line.
Oh god.
But that's the thing as well, like Brent Spiner, he has to do a lot of neck acting as Data, it's like everything has to be in the neck and the head.
Yeah.
Data moves like a sparrow. His head's like, well that's kind of doesn't make sense. Anyways, Captain, it'll be here 0.384 hours.
Yeah, for everybody that's listening, you obviously can't see what's going on, but Tom's actually just bopping his head, and he's like doing this little literal bird movement with his head. If you can imagine a pigeon just sitting there trying to neck away from everything. It's just...
Yeah.
Alright, so the Borg design, right? So
I've never really got the whole... I love the Borg as this kind of force of nature sort of thing, but as a kind of like pursuit for perfection, I've never really got the Borg design.
No.
Like if your pursuit was to be the perfect like weird computerized killing machine thing, yeah. But if your pursuit is just for perfection, I've never got the whole weird...
I think it's supposed to symbolise organic with
it's more...
because their perfection, I think, is more in the mind than it is on the outer
I think
body.
as well, like, I think every individual Borg drone has a function.
Yes.
7 of 9, she was of tertiary adjunct, whatever. She had a very specific function within a cube. And so I think their augmentations are probably more in line with whatever their function is. So they might have like a thing on their eye because they need a thing on their eye to do that thing in the cube.
Yeah.
And they have that thing on their hand because they need that thing in their hand.
Well,
and if your idea of perfection is just to perfectly function doing one singular thing, that's a weird idea of perfection.
Well, isn't there that whole thing? There's that whole philosophy of where you should be perfect on one thing and you don't necessarily have to be good at anything else.
Yeah, but is that what the Borg are aiming for? For a gajillion individual drones to just be perfectly good at one thing?
So that the collective are perfect as a whole.
I guess, they're just looking at them as cells in an organism and the Borg. But it's still a weird idea of perfection for me.
No, yeah.
For me, like,
I've not really thought about it.
If I was dreaming up a species for a TV series that were looking, we're trying to attain perfection through assimilation, I would think about something more kind of like, I don't know, just more kind of less clunky, less shambling, something more like, with shape-shifting abilities and super speed and laser eyes and things like that. That's my idea of a species, of a thing assimilating species after species trying to attain perfection.
Yeah, but they don't actually, they assimilate. They don't change.
Yeah, but the thing is, assimilation means that with every species, if they are really good at that one thing, the Borg assimilate that, and now they are really good at that one thing as well. Yeah. And all Borg are now really good at that one thing. Your technological and biological distinctiveness will be added to our own.
Yes.
Our own distinctiveness.
Yeah.
So that's why when I think of like something that has that kind of goal.
Isn't that a dichotomy though? Because they're supposed to be...
your distinctiveness to our own,
which doesn't necessarily you are now.
It's a contradiction.
Yeah, it's a contradiction.
It's a contradiction.
Yeah,
you are free to do as we tell you.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
That kind of thing. Yeah, it's that sort of contradiction. That's always been my thing with the Borg, and they are so fucking imperfect.
Oh God,
considering how many species they've assimilated, and they've not figured out how to just like move faster, I guess. Look, like move in less of a zombie. Sorry, welcome to Tom's Borg rants, a podcast in which Tom rants about Borg for way longer than he should.
It's probably my fault. I brought up the question.
Yeah, you brought up the Borg. You brought this on us.
But I love the Borg. I love
the
think
Borg as like
they are scary as shit. Can you imagine?
Look, as I said, as a force of nature, I like the Borg. But as a kind of an element of lore or a storyline, I've never got the Borg. I don't understand their idea of perfection. Yeah,
but the thing is, you could relate that to anything.
Cyborg zombies, in my mind, are not my idea of perfection.
Yeah, but if you take it in a religious context and think it of in a religious context, each religion is kind
just
of
a case
perfect
of,
in their own way.
Is it just a case of the Queen is pursuing her own personal perfection for every species?
But as Data says, that is a contradiction, because they're a collective. There cannot be no individual.
But that's my point. The Queen, she created this collective.
Yeah, because she says
she is trying to attain perfection.
Yeah.
And every time her collective assimilate a new species, the collective learn.
She becomes more perfect.
Yeah, because the collective learn this new skill or this new technology or this new whatever, blah, blah, blah. This new mathematical equation, or for the omega particle. And so now she knows that. It's not that the Borg believe that they are trying to attain perfection, but really it's she who is trying to attain perfection through the Borg.
Yeah.
There we go. Now it makes sense to me. I have made peace with the Borg. The Borg are, in their entirety, an awesome creation, story-wise.
Yay!
You convinced me.
Yeah.
I love the scene, the deflector shield scene.
Oh,
I've actually got the music for it stuck in my head right now. I've had it stuck in my head all evening.
Oh, God.
Boom.
Yes.
Boom. 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 Because you always wait for it to go, da-da, but instead it goes, boom.
Just to deflect you.
Well, it's a deflector shield.
Ba-dum-bum.
And I love, it's like Worf's vulnerability, because his spacewalks make him sick.
Yes.
Yeah, don't look at the stars. Come on, look at the hull. And it's a great little transition, because you see them upside down on the disc of the Enterprise. So they're shooting it upside down, and when he looks down at the hull, that's when the camera kind of stabilizes.
Yes.
And suddenly we're back in, and it's a great little, and it's Jonathan Frakes' first movie.
Yeah.
He'd done episodes of, I can't believe we haven't spoken about this much earlier, but it's Jonathan Frakes' first movie.
Yeah. I was telling you earlier, there were two other directors kind of in contention for directing.
Did you get the names?
I did, but I can't remember them now.
Oh, you suck.
I do. But there we go. I think Ridley Scott may have been one of them. Maybe. What? I can't remember.
Was he actually in contention, or was it like they left a message on his answering machine?
I might be completely wrong, because right now I cannot remember for the life of me. Right, so you found it.
Oh, wow. So it was Ridley Scott.
Hey!
Well, no, reportedly, Ridley Scott and John McTiernan.
Yes.
John fucking McTiernan.
That's it.
Turned down the chance to direct. They weren't in contention. They turned it down. Somebody left a message on their answering machine and they didn't call back.
Apparently others were involved as well.
Yeah.
Apparently Patrick Stewart said they weren't Star Trek-y enough or didn't know enough about the lore.
Which makes
sense. And
sense.
therefore said Jonathan Frakes.
Yeah.
Which at that point he had done episodes of various Star Trek.
Yeah, and he'd done some really good episodes of Star Trek.
Yeah. Exactly that. Yeah. So I mean, he makes this movie so well, and you can feel the lore, you can feel the passion in the project as well. And
as well as that, you could kind of sense this kind of, there was this kind of sense of ambition as well. Yeah. I mean, from the first shot where you see Picard's eye, and then it zooms out and then it zooms, and you see him in an alcove on a deck in a Borg ship, and then it zooms out, and you see him on a in part of this circle thing, and then you zoom out, and you can see this grand hall, and and there's this real kind of I mean, that's a fantastic opening shot.
Oh God, yeah.
For a first time film director, with it just felt like. Finally, I can do this shit. I can do it. Yes.
Like it was waiting for this moment. Yeah. But I keep saying that nebula, the first nebula you see in that whole map painting.
Where you see the Enterprise and that map painting in the background.
Oh my God!
But that's not Jonathan Frakes. That's the map painter.
That's the main. Yeah.
But he's the one who signed off on that particular.
But it's
nebula
such a beautiful shot and such a great. Introduction to the world.
And Enterprise as well. The Enterprise-E in this film is just, it's so cool. The Enterprise has always had like a very kind of iconic design.
Yeah.
But this Enterprise design, it's cool. It's kind of like, it's a little bit edgy. It's like an Enterprise that's like, he's a nice guy, but he's got kind of a dark past, Did you hear? But the deflector shield scene, with the great music, and it's really weird because it's a really, really tense scene.
But it's a really slow scene.
Yeah, it is so slow, but it's so freaking tense,
But if you put it in real terms, it works because you work so slow. Apparently, you work so slowly in space. You've got gravity.
But that's what makes it so tense.
Yeah, exactly.
There's the Borg. They're right there, and you got to get this thing done before their thing done. But you can only move so fast, and you're kind of and it's just. I've seen this movie like 1,000 times, but the deflector shield scene is just. I was sitting here earlier. You still get tense to this day, and your stomach just goes like, "Oh my God, please make sure." I was sitting here earlier with it on in the background while I was editing stuff for the previous YouTube video, and even though I've only got one eye on it, I'm getting so tense while I'm working, and I'm like, "Oh, I gotta pause and watch this scene and let it just play out." But one thing that always stands out to me is, when they put their spacesuits on?
Yes.
You know that little thing on their wrist, on their forearm? It's like this little beep, 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 beep.
Oh, yeah.
Is it just me, or does it look like a children's toy?
Probably is a children's toy.
It just looks like a children's toy. So often in Star Trek, they try to design something futuristic, and they end up just looking like a toy.
Like one of those speak and spells.
Yeah. Or like, green, purple.
Yes.
James Cromwell.
Yes.
He's pretty tall, isn't he? He's quite tall. And that coat he wears, that big kind of fluffy coat he wears, makes him look even taller. The first time we see him when he's standing next to Alfred Woodward. I can't say her name. Alfred
Woodward.
No, it's not Woodward. It's Alfred Woodard.
There we go.
But because, Alfred Woodward. Iwa Woowa.
That's not nice.
That's Edward Woodward.
Yes, it is.
It's Edward Woodward if you take all the D's out of his name. Iwa Woowa.
Was it I hate you.
But when the first time we see him, when he's standing next to Alfred Woowa.
Oh God, yeah.
Alfred. I can't say her freaking name. Lily. Lily.
Just call her Lily.
The first time we see Zefram Cochrane standing next to Lily.
Yes.
He is so freaking
Yeah,
tall.
I know, right?
It's like, is James Cromwell really that tall, or is Iwawu? Alfred.
Lily.
Is she?
Lily.
Is she that short?
Probably. You could.
Because she looks like.
She's petite.
Yeah, but even with like Patrick Stewart, she looks kind of like average height. I think I'm too hung up on this. It just always stands out to me every scene he's in. When they do like a kind of medium to wide shot, I'm like, fucking hell, this guy's tall.
He probably is tall. He looks like a 6 foot tall man.
He makes the rest of the film look like the land of the Munchkins. But that's not my point.
Go on.
He is a
He's
Star
amazing.
Trek actor.
Yes, he is.
You know, before this, he had played like a Vulcan in Next Generation or Deep Space Nine. More likely Deep Space Nine, because this is the Next Generation cast. But it's just kind of
I
convenient.
loved him.
Yeah.
He was compelling, and
He's a great actor.
He's a great actor, but Zefram Cochrane, he just portrays this guy as like, fuck off, people.
Yeah.
I just want to live my life.
Yeah,
And,
he's just
you
like,
know,
I just want to make some
money.
moolah.
I just want to make some money.
I just want to make some money.
And the thing is,
Listen to old-timey rock and roll and drink.
yeah, and stop putting all this pressure on me. I am not this dude
Not
you think I
deify
am.
me.
Yeah.
But there are like Star Trek actors, you know, like what's his name? The guy who plays Neelix. He shows up in the
He's in the bar.
Yeah, he's in the holodeck. He's in the holodeck.
Yeah.
But there are these Star Trek actors,
Yes.
because like I can't remember his name, but the guy who plays Neelix. Before he played Neelix, he played a Ferengi
Yes.
on Deep Space Nine or Next Generation, and in fact, when he played Neelix undercover as a Ferengi in Voyager, he was basically playing the same character he played in his previous role.
Yeah.
But I love that Star Trek does that. You know, it's like, oh shit, we're making this really big movie. And, you know, James Cromwell, he's done some shit for us. You know, he's shown up, he's cropped up more than once in Star Trek. And he's kind of making a name for himself of, like, Babe and stuff like that. So, like...
Let's give him a chance.
You know, it's like... You know, we're on the same path. Like, let's call our mate James Cromwell.
Yeah.
I like that.
Me too.
And I like that they do that quite frequently.
Yeah.
Like every time they start a new series, they make sure they kind of bring some actors along with them from the previous show.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, I was going to say, the whole Ahab.
The Moby Dick
thing.
Yeah.
I think it's,
Yeah, and it is, it's obviously there. But then I love that it ends with her going like...
I've never read it.
I never read it. I know what it's about. I never read it. But that's like
life. You know, you can go and you can have a conversation about a movie that you know so much about.
Or reference.
Reference or whatever that you know so much about, but you have never read, seen, listened, whatever. But
because
you know,
it's become like such a part of the like kind of cultural zeitgeist. You know, it's like
exactly
so
that.
part of. You know, there are certain phrases we use that, it actually turns out that phrase comes from a historic book and it means this and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, it makes total sense.
Yeah. But in terms of what we're seeing, I mean, what Picard... I love that whole realisation that he is Ahab. And
that moment he realises it.
That moment it just clicks. Because he kind of knocks...
He smashes all his...
And
she's like, you broke your little ship. But... That is actually like one of my all-time favourite scenes in cinema, in movie. You know, just the line must be drawn here. Yeah, and I will make them pay for what they have done. It's just like this fantastic scene, like the way she confronts him.
Yes.
You know,
because she's not really confrontational, but she is. She's honest about what she sees.
But the thing is, as well, this comes from a place where, like, the whole Locutus thing, he was assimilated.
Yeah.
But he kind of still had his own consciousness. So there was a part of his mind that was aware of what was going on. And he led one of the most deadly assaults against the Federation as Locutus with the Borg.
So he has that guilt.
Yeah, and they dealt with it in an episode after that. It was like the first or second episode of the season, or immediately after that, the Battle of Wolf 359, and he goes to his brother's vineyard, and he and his brother have like this very contentious relationship. Yeah. And, you know, his brother's like, oh, the hero, Jean-Luc, blah, 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 you know. There's this kind of resentment, but then they eventually come together. Yeah. And there's this fantastic scene where Jean-Luc collapses in the mud and he's like, I couldn't stop them, I couldn't do anything, you know, and he finally confesses that, you know, all he could do was watch what was happening. And then after that, the series never really dealt with it in any meaningful way. Yeah. So this film gives Jean-Luc the opportunity to finally confront that. Yeah. you know, and he is still angry, and he is still hurt, and he's still out for vengeance.
Yeah.
And here he sees his chance for vengeance. You know, he stops.
Because before the whole thing, he's so brutal. Like, he's like, make sure if any of our team are assimilated, you freaking kill them, man.
I don't think that was brutality, because remember, he says, you'll be doing them a mercy.
Yeah.
Because he knows what it's like to be assimilated. He knows what it's like to be stuck inside, watching this all happen through his own eyes.
But the reaction he gives Lily, when Lily points out that the ensign that he kills is, again, part of his team, and he has no reaction. He just says the ensign's name,
like,
and it's like...
And her reaction is like, tough break, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I get... Yeah.
I mean, I understand his point, but there is no empathy.
But that's my point as well. He's never really had the opportunity to confront this. So now all of this emotion and all of this pent-up anger and resentment and pain and hurt and whatever, trauma, has suddenly just come to the surface. That scene where he murders one of them in the holodeck, and then it turns out it's Ensign...
I can't remember. I did.
Koenig or something like that. And he's detached that part.
It's like he's he's
compartmentalized.
Yeah.
And that scene in the briefing room where she confronts him and the whole Ahab thing.
Yes.
This is where he's on the point where this obsession for vengeance, for payback, it could destroy them all. And she doesn't know this guy as well as her crew does.
No.
She doesn't know the history between he and the Borg.
No.
She just sees a dude on the brink. And she knows that if no one brings him back, this is the end. Yeah. They're fucked. So
future, past, in every direction.
Exactly. But the thing is, like, Beverly, she, you know, good old Beverly.
Yeah.
She's like, you know, we do as the captain says.
Yeah. Follow the leader.
You fucking idiot.
I mean, even Worf kind of turns around and says, do you know what?
Yes.
Oh, that scene where Picard kind of cuts him down. It's like, if you weren't a man, dude.
Yeah, if you were any other man, I would kill you where you stand. Yeah. Because he calls him a fucking coward.
Yeah.
Because he sees the writing on the wall. He's like, dude, we're fucked.
Yeah, well, dude, just get rid of the ship. They can build more ships. Get out, man.
Yeah, and, you know, it means they're stuck in the past, but...
We can make
whatever,
the most of it.
At least we get to fight another day.
That's it.
And we take the Borg down. That was... Because that's Worf's concern. Take the Borg down, because they cannot get to Earth. They cannot call their friends...
No, he's a Klingon. So he's always about the mission.
He's always tactics and mission. And
you know, and his whole thing is, well, do you know what, dude? Our whole thing, we need to get rid of the Borg. Yeah. They cannot be in this century. Exactly. They cannot be here.
Who cares about the ship? Just kill the Borg.
Jean-Luc, though, puts his hand up, though, and kind of apologises and shakes his hand, and it's all hunky-dory again.
Yeah. But for what it's worth, you are the bravest man I have ever known. And then they shake hands.
Yes.
And it's an amazing scene.
Yes, it is.
Patrick Stewart has always been too good for Star Trek.
Yes.
But everyone else brings their A game.
Yes.
Except Gates McFadden.
Well, we've already spoken.
Unless that is Gates McFadden's A game, in which case...
She wasn't in it much.
She was
kind of like a really small
I'm glad it wasn't a Crusher-heavy episode. But then again, as well, Marina Sirtis. That
she
scene
was brilliant.
Where she's drunk. It felt that scene plays very much like, finally, I get to have fun with this character.
Yes. Because her mum is so much fun, and she is so straight-laced in the series.
Do you want to hear something funny about her mum? Her mum is the computer.
Oh, God. Yeah, I knew that.
Her mum is Gene Roddenberry's wife.
Yes.
And she is brilliant as well.
Oh, yeah.
But I love it. Don't talk to me about time. We don't have the time to talk about time.
If you're asking for my professional opinions, he's nuts. I love Marina Sirtis anyway. I think she's great, and she's got such comedic timing.
She does, and I love as well in that scene is just Riker. Riker's just like, this is fun. This is a fun moment.
I'm gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, he's just got these big puffy red cheeks. This is for a fun moment. But the thing is, how conservative is the 24th century?
I
where
know.
they're like 4 shots of something called tequila. What the fuck do you people do for fun?
But isn't it all synthesized now? So they probably don't know.
They
what
have
it is.
synthahol.
Yeah.
And okay, what if synthahol doesn't get you drunk? Because my understanding of synthahol is it lets you get drunk without fucking up your body in the process.
Without the hangover. Which
But
I
I
would
guess. But I guess given that how often they play on it in Voyager as well, like when
7 of 9.
7 of 9 gets drunk on synthahol, but that might be just her cybernetic implants. But they don't know what being drunk feels like. So what the fuck is synthahol? Does it just taste alcoholic, but has none of the kind of mind-altering... I'm not trying to worship alcohol here right now, but the reason people have a drink is to get a bit tipsy.
Yeah,
and
just have a laugh.
Yeah. Let down their defences a little.
As long as you're drinking responsibly, it's all good.
Let down your defences a little. Lubricate a social situation a little. What did the 24th century do?
Yeah.
I mean, you could literally murder yourself with a holodeck novel. You could turn all the safety protocols off and murder yourself, but you can't get drunk? That makes no sense.
Does that seem alien to you?
It seems very alien. This is an Earth I cannot relate to.
No. But it's a fun
It just seems like this kind of... I know I love Star Trek. Everyone knows I love Star Trek, but it just... That sounded very Trump there. You know I love Star Trek. Everyone knows I love Star Trek. People say I love Star Trek. All the best people say I love Star Trek.
I really want to swear right now, but I won't.
But it feels very much like a kind of conservative utopia.
It's really weird. They're kind of progressive in some senses, but not in others. Yeah. If you think about...
There's no, like, kind of freedom of expression.
No.
Like, there are no kind of countercultures or anything like that.
No. But we were saying this earlier about music, and where we don't really know what the modern... kind of the contemporary music of that era is. All we hear is everything from the past. So yes, it is very conservative. Yeah, which is surprising. That's never really occurred to me.
The only time they've ever really explored 24th century counterculture is in that episode of Voyager where the Doctor has a family.
Oh yes,
and he has a son who's into like weird Klingon music.
Yeah,
and
wants to do all the Klingon stuff.
Yeah, he wants to do all the Klingon right stuff, and then the daughter does like Porcheesy squares or whatever it's called, and gets really hurt. You think the son's gonna be the one who gets is the cautionary tale and gets like hurt with a knife or something like that, but no, it's the little girl who does like this contact sport at school. Let that be a lesson to you. Little girls should not do contact sports.
Do not take that message. No. If you want to play sport, play the sport. Because be safe, be happy, do what you want. No, do not listen to that.
That's what Star Trek dictates.
I don't care what Star Trek is.
Boys can join gangs as long as their little sisters get hurt in contact sports and it changes their mind about being in a gang.
Fuck you.
This is the conservative utopia.
Yeah, but that is no utopia. It's so it's strange now. Now we're kind of dissecting it at this very moment in time. It's like my mind is blown. It's like no. Well, that
is like the movies shift away from that a little bit. Like the J.J. Abrams, the J.J. Yeah, the lens flared movies. They kind of shift away from that a little, but the TV series proper, it has this very kind of like, that's sort of where...
Yes.
I mean, it's not like, they got rid of money, so it's got that kind of like communist Marxist thing where it's all about like being better for the people. But as far as like just, I don't know, society speaking, the way society kind of is structured and its principles and things like that, it is kind of very conservative.
Yeah.
Ooh.
No. Yes.
We have now got an hour and 48 minutes worth. Ooh. There is so much to talk about. Let me just go through my notes and just do a quick checklist of the things we didn't get a chance to talk about. Now there's approaching 2 hours. Let's see. Music in the 24th century. Picard PTSD, we're talking about. Lily meeting Worf, and the Worf, she has no idea what's going on.
We said that. We did talk about that.
The holodeck scene.
Yep, we talked about that.
Deflector shield scene. Data's arc, we mentioned that. Cochrane's reluctance. We didn't really... Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah. Lily, Picard, the argument in the briefing room. Yep. Engage was a great moment where Zephyr and Cochrane says engage, and that's the other thing we didn't mention. Riker and Geordi are part of history. They've always looked up to this their entire lives, and it turns out that they were actually part of it the entire time. That must be such a kind of...
but you've got to remember, while growing up, they didn't know that they were going to be part
that's my
of
point.
this
That's my point.
This part,
they
this
grew
time,
up
so
looking up to this moment in history, and then it turned out it turned out for them that they were actually part of that moment in history.
But the thing is, they never take it away from Cochrane.
Yeah,
it is his
they
moment.
are literally his co-pilots.
Yeah, that's it.
And they're there to witness first contact.
There is no ego there.
Yeah, exactly.
At all, and I love that.
Yeah, exactly. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
it's absolutely brilliant. Except the moment where Riker's like, "Can we turn the music down?" Conservatives.
But yes, when he goes engage, do you remember Zeze just literally just giggling at that moment? He hears it like, and then there's that subversion at the end where Picard actually says,
"Make it so."
Yes.
But the thing is, that felt very forced. That moment felt very forced. Where he's like, he kind of pauses, break. Make it so.
Yeah.
And it felt very much like, oh, he hadn't said it the entire film. We need him to say it. Okay.
I would have preferred to hear...
I would have preferred engaged.
Engaged, yeah.
Let's see. Final battle. That was pretty cool, the final battle. We talked about that. But then the pretty gruesome death of Queen.
Oh, God.
That was really gruesome.
Yeah, it was.
They used the warp plasma venting thingy.
Yeah.
And, that's what gets rid of his flesh. And... she just gets melted.
She literally disintegrates, and then Picard picks her up and then breaks the end of her neck off.
She literally Wicked Witches it. She's like, I'm melting. Oh.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of a disservice to her, though. I think.
Did I tell you about the Wizard of Oz thing? We'll tell you about the Wizard of Oz thing in a minute.
All right,
but she does the kind of like, I'm melting.
Yes, she does.
But the thing is, like, other than blowing up the deck, how else are they going to get rid of the Borg other than the whole...
the whole point...
organic matter being eaten?
But the whole... they told us at the beginning that's exactly what they were
that
going
was
to
their
do.
aim.
And that was their aim, and that's what they did.
When Data gets captured, that was what they were aiming to do, and etc. etc.
So, the mission complete.
Did it feel a bit like a flaccid ending, though? Because the only real kind of big climactic moment is Picard hanging off the big tubey thing that comes down.
Oh, yeah.
Her grabbing onto his thigh, and Data grabbing onto her waist.
Yeah.
And it's like a tussle for a few seconds, and then she gets pulled into the weird smoke, into the bad compositing in that scene. By the way. We'll skip past that. But she gets pulled into the kind of weird sort of Billy Rubin cloud, and then but it just there wasn't really kind of like a.
It didn't really pull you in. It wasn't. There wasn't.
There weren't many components to it. It was just one person hanging onto one thing, one person hanging onto them, and another person hanging onto them. There wasn't really many moving parts to it. It's just... It just felt very kind of like, let's get this done.
Yeah, let's get this done. She was ultimately trying to survive, and you had...
was she trying to survive, or was she trying to take Picard with her?
I know, I think she was...
If I'm going down, I'm taking you with me.
No, I think she was trying to survive. I don't think she was trying to escape it. I didn't think she was trying to pull him down. I think she was trying to escape it because she knew what was coming.
Why was she merely fondling his
Because she was trying
thigh?
to pull up.
Why not grab his belt?
Yeah, but maybe she couldn't think of that.
Why?
Maybe she doesn't have that knowledge from
assimilating. All the countless fucking species that she's assimilated. None of them ever had the thought to like, grab the belt.
Yes. So maybe it was that.
Maybe she only ever, up until that point, had only ever assimilated species that wear like catsuits.
Yeah.
And overalls.
Yes, exactly that.
Okay, I want to talk about the 3 levels of Star Trek explanations. Do you know what I'm going to talk about now?
Go on.
Go on. Let me see if you know what I'm talking about.
No. Go.
All right.
Don't put me
There
on the
is
spot.
3 levels to when something sci-fi is happening.
It has to be explained.
It's explained
times.
in Star Trek in 3 levels, right? The scene where I'm going to completely get the terminology they use wrong,
Right.
But what they do is they explain everything in 3 levels, right? There's the first level. Something's happening, like the Borg. Something's going on around the Borg. Weird lights are coming out around it. Somebody says something like this: Captain, there is a tachyon particle or chronometric particles, or something like that. And then they'll go down, and that's like, what the fuck are they talking about? And then somebody will go something like, they're creating a temporal disruption. Okay, I get that. Temporal. Time.
Yeah.
Time. They're disrupting time.
Yeah.
And then somebody will go to the 3rd level and go, time travel? The 3 levels of Star Trek explanation.
They do that in every episode.
Every time there is a Star Trek thing happening, they have to explain it in 3 levels.
So you've got...
It is sci-fi level. Sci-fi speak.
Yep.
Kind of sciencey gobbledygook speak, but makes kind of sense. And then dumbass speak.
Oh.
And if you ever turned it into a drinking game, you'd be dead.
Yes, you really would be.
But yeah. So is there anything else with...
Do you know what?
One
Alright,
hour
let me ask you,
55.
You obviously love this movie.
Yeah, I love this movie so much.
Considering I've now watched it twice in a span of a week or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think I actually quite enjoyed this film.
Did you love it the first time you see it? Or was like, yeah, it's good, it's fine, it's whatever. Or do you or
Well,
have you just learned? Is it one of those things where it's just like you've been exposed to it so many times that yeah, fair enough, I love it.
Yeah, it's that latter one.
Oh,
I think I've watched it like 3 times now. In like, do you know what? I've actually watched it more than 3 times, but I can't remember all of the times that I've watched it. But if you think about the times that I've sat down
It's
and
been
watched
on like
it,
late night TV.
yeah, it's late
things
night,
like
yeah, things like that. But yes, I quite delving into it in a completely different manner rather than just watching it.
Yeah,
is
in
giving
the
me
manner of like I have to make notes.
Yeah,
I have to actually
yes,
find
that's,
things.
I have
We
to
didn't
find-
even mention Dum Dum Dugan.
What?
Neil McDonough or the guy who's in like literally everything. He was in like
Desperate Housewives.
he was in the Arrowverse thing in Dark.
Yeah,
He was
okay.
in Captain America as
Yes.
Dum Dum Dugan.
Yes.
He's in so many things,
Yes.
and he is so young, and it's so weird. Like he kind of proves the point that guys who are when they're young have those like piercing blue eyes and you know the chiseled cheek and the dimple and they're just very distinctive faces. They're kind of like statuesquely handsome.
Yeah.
When they're young, when they're older, they just look fucking scary. They just look like bad guys.
Guys, yes. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, he's quite a supporting. He wasn't in Star Trek, but he's a support. I feel like this kind of helped. This opened a few doors
Just
for him.
Definitely. Like I said, he went off
Until he got assimilated. And we didn't talk about the bit in the deflector shield scene where he's got a Borg's hand sealing up. Worf gets his suit sliced, and then he rips off a Borg's hand, ties the cable around it, and then when the Borg are going off, like the deflector shield, they've detached the deflector shield, and it's waving at them. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but the hand's waving, and he's like, assimilate this. He gets a line. He gets a one-liner, and then just blows up the deflector shield. He got an Arnie star one-liner. It's awesome. Oh, so many things we didn't get a chance to talk about. But this is getting late.
Yeah, but you know what? I have, like, you...
It's exactly midnight right now.
wow.
As we speak. There we go. 0000. Exactly midnight.
All right, it's time for bed.
Yeah.
Right. No. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Last couple of things you wanted to talk about. Did you have any of your... We want to introduce a new segment of the show. These IMDb facts.
I think I've kind of just weaved them through this episode.
There is
I'm
one
sorry.
fact you missed off. The original script.
Yes.
When you said it, they wanted it to be a time travel piece.
And,
they wanted it set...
And a Borg piece.
But they wanted it set in the 1700s.
Yes.
They wanted it set during something to do with like the French the Renaissance and the French Revolution and things like that.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad they didn't go in that
No,
direction.
I'm so glad they didn't go there. I like the direction they went to. It's enough in the future for us to appreciate it, and enough in the past for the movie.
But then
to
they do
appreciate
make reference to it in the next film.
Yes.
In the next film, it starts with a holodeck scene on a Royal Navy ship in the 1700s, and that was actually a lot of what happens in that scene was lifted from the script, the original script of what the next Star Trek movie was going to be.
Was supposed to be.
Until it became First Contact.
Yeah.
I'm so glad they went in this direction.
I am too.
They talk about First Contact so much in all of the series.
It's good. It's great to understand it and see it for ourselves.
Zefram Cochrane is a name that's cropped up in Star Trek lore so many times, and it was so great just to finally see it. And I love.
And do you know do you know what's great about it? It's a prequel without being a prequel.
It's a semi prequel.
Yeah.
You know, we get to see what happened before through the eyes of what's going on right now.
Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. And
it's a faux prequel, or we need a term for it. It basically created its own sub-genre.
Yeah, which nobody's really picked up on.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever
You're a
picked up on.
genius. You're a film critique genius, dude.
Ah, no.
I knew you'd get there eventually. Oh, that was really patronising. I'm sorry. I'm really hungry right now.
I am.
Do you know what I'm craving right now?
What are you craving?
Hot dogs.
Oh, we don't have any.
I know.
Oh, we've got pizza. I've got pizza in the oven.
Let's make a pizza.
Let's make a pizza.
All right, let's wrap this up and make
All
a
right,
pizza.
you lovely, lovely people. Don't forget, you can catch me at Amara_Secrets.
She remembered it.
You can catch Mr. French at French-Patels, and this is on Twitter. And don't forget, on Instagram, Patreon, and Twitter, you can catch us at the French-Patels.
Yes. And if you enjoyed it, review, recommend.
Yes.
Help us grow.
Yes, please. And there it goes again.
Thanks,
it's the
Nord.
NordVPN.
Thanks, Nord. Keep doing your thing.
Hashtag no.
Not sponsored yet. The next episode's going to be interesting. It's a bit up in the air depending on whether or not we can get childcare. We're either going to try and do Birds of Prey,
or we're doing episodes,
or we're doing something about Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
Let's see how it goes. I really hope we don't end up at the wall. We need to do a backup episode just in case.
Do, just in case.
All right. So until next time, guys, it's goodbye from her.
And it's goodbye from him.